Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss uh, the famous poem "Still I Rise" by Maya Angelou. She is an American poet. So we'll get into the poem. We'll delve deep into this powerful poem. This is a work which encapsulates the resilience and the indomitable spirit of overcoming adversity. This poem is, in fact, a stirring anthem of defiance against oppression, and also a celebration of our empowerment. So let's first look at the thematic depth and layered imagery, the meanings within this masterpiece of Angelo. Before that, at the outset, I would like to discuss with you a brief introduction, to give you a brief introduction to Maya Angelou and her works. Maya Angelou was born in April 4th, 1928, and she died on May 28th, 2014. She was a highly influential American poet, as we all know. She played different roles in her life. Like she was a famous memorist, civil rights activist, and more than that, an author, a profound author, prolific author who inspired millions in 20th and 21st century. She is celebrated for her powerful and eloquent writing style, which often touches upon themes, very complicated and sensitive themes like identity, race, womanhood, and resilience. Most of her works are autobiographically, deeply autobiographical, drawing from her personal experiences of racism, trauma, and uh, other atrocities during her childhood and later. And she also gives anecdotes of how did she overcame all these adversities through her works. Looking at her works, writings, her most renowned work is the autobiographical series that begins with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sing, which came in 1969, that deals with her childhood and early adult years, chronicling the challenges she faced growing up as a black woman in the racially segregated southern state of US. This remarkable, groundbreaking memoir explores the issues of racism. It centers around issues of racism, sexual assault that stems from racism, affected by racism, or of self-discovery after all these atrocities. And it became a classical American literature piece, propelling Angela to literary fame and glamour. Apart from all her autobiographical works, Maya Angelou has also known for her poetry collections. That is, one of such poem is what we discussing today, such as "Still I Rise" in 1978, which includes the famous poem comes with the same. I mean, what we are discussing. Her poems often reflect themes of empowerment, resilience, and the celebration of a human spirit, the essence of humanism. Angela was a prominent figure in civil rights movements apart from her writing career. She worked along with the notable activists like Martin Luther King Jr. Her contributions to literature and activism earned her backed her numerous awards and honors, including over 50 honorary degrees she was granted and a presidential medal of freedom awarded by Barack Obama's administration in 2010, which is the highest civilian honor in the United States. Maya Angelou's writings continues to resonate with the readers worldwide for the currents of its themes and its penetrating views, writing style for a number of reasons. It still inspires hundreds of thousands of people, giving them profound insights, emotional depth, and making them to uh, stick on to unwavering commitment towards their causes. And her poems explore the complexities of human experiences that she has experienced, and which are also relatable for many people. Her legacy as a literary icon, and also her name in literature advocates for equality and justice. It's always a kind of a synonym for those who advocate for equality and justice. Major works, as I have already mentioned here, it's given here. I Know Why the Caged Birds Sing, since it came in 1969. This is an autobiographical novel. It's a first of this series. It covers her childhood and early adult years, exploring themes of racism, trauma, resilience, and personal growth. Uh, Especially the events, I mean, the socio-cultural situation of a black community after the in the second half of the 20th century. Gather Together My Name is another installment of the second installment of the biography of Angelo's biography series. It recounts her experience as a young single mother and struggling to find her place in this world. Another work, Still I Rise, is a collection of Angelo's poetry, which includes the celebrated and most frequently referred poem that we are studying today. It is a part of this collection. Another famous work is The Heart of a Woman. It's a this autobiography. This is the third part of her autobiography series, and it covers her experience during the civil rights movements and her involvement with figures like Malcolm X and such. Okay, right into the poem now. The poem has a very interesting beginning. It starts with a subtle and uh, very subtle usage, which explains or expresses her intention of writing this poetry. The poem speaker begins with an unmistakable tone of anger, utilizing the words like bitter, twisted, which expresses the depth of their emotion. That's why I state that this is a subtle way of beginning the poem, because the reader, the moment he starts or she starts to read, he gets to know about the intention of the poetry. How does it go? What does it mean? Or where is it going? Through singular personal pronouns like me and I. The speaker is not only representing herself, rather she represents her community as such, as a whole. She speaks on behalf of their or the community who are oppressed people, particularly the black community. So this collective voice is the backbone of this poetry. With this collective voice only, she challenges the dishonest and cruel portrayal of her people in different literary works, and at the same time, she challenges the whole system that fights against the community, the oppressed community. So the voice always switches from I to a collective I, which means the community as such. Moving towards the next section of the poetry, you find um, the identity. I mean, how does she identify the oppressor? In the beginning she explains what she is, then right after that she moves on to identify the oppressor, locate the oppressor, and exhibit the oppressor to the viewers, to the readers, show the oppressor to the readers in clarity. As the poem unfolds, the you, that is the word she uses, addressed by the speaker, becomes more and more clear, and the oppressor symbolizing broader history of white oppression against black people. So these features actually gives us a clear idea about who is the oppressed and who is the oppressor, and the distinction between these two. The vivid images of black individuals like being trod in dirt illustrates how dehumanized they were, how repeatedly they were suppressed. Their spirit was killed, withheld. But even though she is expressing all these bitter, hard, gross feelings and experiences of the black, she has a ray of hope. She speaks defiantly and asserts her determination to rise above this oppression, drawing inspiration or maybe drawing power from this oppression, from this pain, displaying not just anger but unwavering confidence. That's what it reflects all throughout. It doesn't conform, the poetry doesn't conform itself to a kind of anger, rather it draws from this anger an unwavering confidence. That is what we find in the flow of the poetry. Moving on, the speaker questions if her sassiness upsets the oppressor. There are different usages that directly um, eat the oppressor in the sense that it hurts the ego of the oppressor, the ego that was dominating, that was really causing all these troubles for the oppressed. So she says assassin upsets the oppressor, indicating her bold attitude. She does not seem concerned about the discomfort it may cause, even finding amusement in it. The speaker actually fights against both racism and sexism, highlighting the challenges faced by black women. So she brings both these subjects together, sexism and racism. And moving on, she comments on the gloom of the oppressor, the attitude of the oppressor once she raises above their expectations. She challenges them. The speaker, in fact, acknowledges the oppressor's gloom because there is a gloom in them, but swiftly shifts the narratives. Rather, the questioning whether her actions cause this gloom, she proudly proclaimed that her confidence and boldness are the reasons behind it. Her self-assured walk represents a wealth of confidence and a strength that disturbs the oppressor. So she knows the reason why the oppressor has this gloom, or why they are gloomy, why they are disturbed. It is nothing but her actions, her act of resilience is what actually disturbs them, unsettles them. And she moves on to discuss other aspects of her idea about oppression and oppressed, like the timelessness of hope and resilience. It actually gives a message that suggests the resistance is a process that has to go on because nothing is going to change um, in a short time, in a brief time. So it has to go on. The speaker compares her hope to the eternal nature of moon and sun, symbolizing the enduring determination of black people and oppressed individuals to fight their rights. She casually refers back to the state of mind of an oppressed. It's a kind of a universal characteristics because all oppressors, all categories of people who are oppressed all throughout the world, all around the world share these features. The features like she describes them as broken, emotionally shattered, emotionally fatigued from enduring relentless prejudice and oppression. Again, in different stanzas, she keeps on taunting the oppressor because she knows that that makes them disturbed because they cannot stand on to this. It's something very new, and that is what provokes them. She again taunts the oppressor, displaying her hotness and confidence that seems offending the oppressor. She exudes carefree jubilation, like celebrations, likening her confidence or comparing her confidence to the wealth of a gold mine in her backyard. It's a wonderful imagery that has different layers of meaning in this context. And she brings in a couple of other metaphors which depicts the speaker's resistance to the oppressor's actions, symbolizing the resilience even in the face of the verbal attack and emotional harms caused by them. Again, she moves forward, declaring our sensuality and freedom. The expression of this comes in quite stark and startling imageries. Like she refers, or she brings number of imageries which were considered to be obscene and which were considered to be awkward and not appropriate for the poetic language. And she expresses, like if you're looking at the um, like the expressions of the black Americans or the rights movements, you find music and dance I mean played an important part in their resistance movements. So she makes reference to this dance and sensual imageries because she wanted to challenge the society, its expectations and stereotypes. It's the society that is patriarchal, that has kept them locked and kept them as oppressed for centuries. She wanted to break and attack all these stereotypes of moral constructs which were used as tools to control them and tame them for centuries. And towards the end of the poem, we find Angelo goes back to their ancestral history and brings back the history and place it as a major source of her resilience and fight against oppression. The speaker rises from the past, marked by the shame and pain, because the past represents the shame and pain. And the past, by the end of the poem, we find the past is being gathered in such a way that it symbolizes the collective strength of her ancestors. And she aligns herself with this powerful force of nature. She identifies the past as a major force of nature because the past, with its pain and experiences, can unite people together. The past is something that is relatable to everyone who has undergone the oppression. So, in such a note, she aligns herself with the past. And the imagery, Black Ocean, stands for the whole stretch of past they had been through, the past that they heard through narratives. And she uses this strategy, or maybe the past, a historical capital, the knowledge of history, to fight against, to bring down the oppressors. That's very interesting to find in this poetry. And by the end of the poem concludes. The speaker leaves behind the nights of terrors and fears, embracing a wonderful and clear daybreak, which suggests the optimism that she holds, the positivity that she has, the foresight that she has about the future of her community. And she suggests that she carries the gifts of her ancestors, did the strength and hope, because they were so patient. This they actually kept on hoping for the liberation for centuries, even though there were no rays of hope back then. And the determination is what she shares with her ancestors. It's a kind of a dream of freedom that is collectively curated and molded. That's what the poem suggests by the end of it. And in closing, Still I Rise epitomizes the underlying resilience and unwavering determination of the oppressed to rise above adversity. Her poetry actually continues to serve as a timeless anthem of empowerment and hope. It inspires generations of people to overcome challenges and stand tall against the oppressors and the oppression. That is all about the poetry. Thank you very much for exploring the themes and the nuances of the poetry with me. This poem's enduring message of resilience and empowerment reminds us that despite adversity, we possess the strength to rise and thrive. Thank you.